This is the vertical load screen. The vertical load screen analyzes the vertical stacking of four weight-bearing joints over one another and in relation to an imaginary plumb line, shown here as the light blue line. The plumb line represents the optimal position of these points and allows us to see how far forward or back each point lies, as well as how they stack in comparison to one another. This is a representation of how a person's body responds to gravity and correlates with their overall postural position. It is common for most people's vertical load to be forward, as this is an initial means of compensation. If you see points behind the plumb line, this represents a more advanced level of compensation and often correlates with sway back posture. There are 4 individual measurements and 3 relationship measurements that comprise the vertical load screen. In this example, his head is the furthest forward point on the body, next followed by his hips. The shoulder to hip angle is a very important measurement to consider, as it often correlates with how far forward the pelvis is tilting. In this example, you can see his hips are being pushed far forward and tilting his pelvis down in the front. The goal would be to bring his hips back to stack vertically underneath his shoulders, which would allow his head to move back into a better position. This is one of the most important measurements to consider when analyzing a person's postural health and anatomical deviations.